One is about cats and animals, ordinance 500, and the other part's about the budget. And my read on the room is apparently we're going to have more conversation about the animals and cats than we are the budget. So we'll start with the public hearing with ordinance 500, which is an ordinance to amend chapter 135 of the Hampstead Town Code regarding animals. All persons are reminded that this session is being recorded on tape for the preservation of records. You're asked when called upon, give your name and address and interest in the matter before the council. That matter is ordinance 500, which is the aforementioned ordinance related to animals and feral cats. Who wants to go first? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Corinne C. Guy, and I live at 1104 Main Street. And we've had an issue with this for about a year when they started being fed. And unless you are the neighbors, unless you have a neighbor that feeds cats, you're not going to really care about it. But if you do, and you're not supposed to feed them and you still feed them, your yard will be very messy. You'll have dead birds, you'll have dead animals, you'll have feces, you'll have urine smell, you'll have a whole lot of not very good things in your yard. The cats are fed very well. They look like little baby panthers. They're very big. In the middle of the night, there's all kind of cat fights and who knows what else is going on. They have brought coyotes, they have brought foxes. You'll see them in the dusk. They have brought all the other animals because they want to eat too. They know where the food is. This winter, they weren't supposed to be fed, but they were. I know the paper said there wasn't any, nobody was complaining. What shoved under the garage door, then their garage door was shut, and then they're fed again. So if you are not the neighbor, they're not going to go where the cats are not going to go in the yard. They're going to go in everyone else's yard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have them around, it's not a big deal. You don't care because nothing's bothering you. That's my take.
All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My name is Regina Roblesky. I'm here on behalf of my grandmother, Verna McGinnis. She lives at 1028 Main Street. It's actually right directly next to Mama's. There's a duplex between us. The cats have destroyed a pool cover twice this year, to the point where I wasn't going to purchase another one. They have ripped it. They've done everything. They have feces all over our yard, to the point of they're on the top, and you have to go out and make sure that I have children that come there to see my grandmother. You have to make sure the sandbox is just, we don't even do the sandbox. We just got rid of sand today because it's the 5th time since it's been nice out that we've put sand in a sandbox. They get the lid off and they poop in the sandbox. Very, very unsanitary. It's nasty. We had an issue about a garage my brother had put up. I guess it's been a couple months now. The cats had went under there and had babies. They were everywhere. I mean, you couldn't move. They tear the trash out. Oh, my mother has been down there helping me get some things done for my grandmother in the yard. My father is very ill with cancer right now. We take turns. So when it's my day to watch him, she goes down and does the yard stuff, trying to get the yard ready because, you know, it's summertime and things. And she got very ill. We took her to the hospital and we're actually pending results. They believe she has salmonella poisoning. And I asked them, they said, what was she exposed to or what she eat? And I explained to them about the cats and things, and they said that their feces do carry salmonella, all kinds of very nasty, nasty diseases, and that, you know, you have to see. It takes 48 to 72 hours for the culture to grow, and that should be back the next day or two, but she's still very, very ill. She did have to spend the night in the hospital, so she is very ill from that. The last thing I really want to say is, like Ms. Corrine said, if you don't live there, of course it's not a big deal because they're not bothering you because you don't see them every day, you don't have them. I have a 3-year-old little girl. Of course, she is never unattended outside. She is never by herself for a minute. But it takes 1 second, literally, for a cat to tear my baby's beautiful little face up because they're not nice. You walk down the alley from our parking in the alley, I don't even know what the alley's called back there, behind our house instead of parking on Main Street. When I walk my daughter around and my grandmother, because my grandmother has Alzheimer's, so she doesn't realize she's not supposed to talk to them. She talked to anybody. She could probably talk to the tree. I mean, seriously, she could. They hiss. They act nasty. They get down. Your hair stands up. If this cats would attack my grandmother or my child, my grandmother, she could get an infection and die from that. My child could be scarred for the rest of her life. She's 3. And the feces and the pee is just, it's nasty, it's uncalled for, and they tear up everything. And, you know, maybe let the county health department come out and assess the situation and see, you know, if they think it's, you know, the amount of cats that are there and the noise they make, and, you know, put camera out there on like one of the poles or something and just monitor what they do during the day and night, and you would see exactly what we're saying is the problem. We're not trying to be nasty, we don't wanna have any problems with Mr. Thomas or anything else. I love animals myself, I would love to feed them, but they're not nice cats. They're not, you know, indoor little sweet little kitties that you see on TV. It's sad that their life is this way because they're just inhumane. They need to be euthanized. They're not nice cats. And I don't think you should feed something that's potentially gonna hurt you and keep them around. And that's all I have to say, and I hope you understand, and Mr. Thomas, I hope you understand, because I think it's a very nice thing you're doing by feeding them. It's just the problems they're causing, and we have to speak, but I do hope you understand. Thank you.
Have we had the health department out?
They've declined, they don't have the personnel to get involved,
Have we had animal control out?
they won't come out either.
Okay,
They've been out before.
all right.
I couldn't get them out, how,
They came by my house
Did
and
they?
talked to me.
okay.
And they said that we were in no way in violation of anything. So
All right, we got 2 cons. Any pros or other cons? Other comments? Ann?
Why does this stand up? I don't live on Main Street. My name's Ann Lockton, and I live in 2467 Fairway Oaks Court. And about a couple weeks ago, I had a dissertation with a neighbor who actually had a neighbor behind her in Oakmont Green feeding feral cats, and she had the same problem. But my question to you is, you know, I understand the process and the policy and what you're trying to do. I was just wondering, is there some way or something that you could put in there for neighbors to come in and, you know, have some type of, you know, process that they could come, you know, put in a complaint and then say, is, you know, something that can be done about it. I mean, and maybe that's what this ordinance needs, is something that, you know, people can come in and say, I have a problem because this cat, you know, they're in my yard, they're doing all this stuff, what can be done about this? And I just don't know if there's something in this that you know, addresses that issue, but we even have it in Oakmont Green. So it's not just limited to Main Street.
Thank you.
I did forget to say one other thing, I'm sorry. Another question I did have is if they are allowed to stay, which is totally up to you guys, of course, are they going to have to be tagged and collared and spayed and neutered and vaccinated? So if they do attack someone, no, we're not gonna have a rabies outbreak here in Hampstead or something, because we really don't know what they have, because we don't know where they wander to. Is that gonna be one of the agreements if you are to allow them to keep the cat?
Can I speak on this?
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, the change in the ordinance was just to allow people that participate in a trap, neuter, and release program to be able to care for cats and not have how many ever cats are in that colony count towards the total number of cats that are allowed in town. Right now, town citizens are only allowed 6 animals. 3 of them can be cats, 3 of them can be dogs. The change in the ordinance is just allowing people to participate in a program. Now, the cats you're speaking of, that you know are on our block, have all been trapped, spayed and neutered, and released back out onto the street. They have their rabies shots, they've been treated for worms, they've been treated for ear mites, and the program is ongoing. So in a year, which will be coming up in November, all the cats will be recaught and taken in for their yearly shots. And that's how the program works. There are a few people I recognize out here in the audience that work with these programs. And the intention of this ordinance was just to allow people to participate in a feral cat program. Now, speaking to the number that are there, last November, December, there were 11 cats in the alley. Right now, I believe there is only 7. It's one that keeps wandering in from up the street, but there's only 7 out there. And the program is so that the cats will be monitored. They are feral cats, and they do run away from people that they don't know. And so I've never seen the cat do anything other than run away from people. And
Are they tagged
this,
there to monitor who's getting shots?
I'm sorry?
Are they like tagged with like a collar or something, like registered, so
Every-
you're giving everybody the right shot?
Okay.
I'm just asking, I'm sorry.
Yes, okay, it's okay. The attorney has suggested some language change to the ordinance, which I was gonna talk about up here with the board. When we get around to the adoption, we'll make the change. And basically, I'll go ahead and read it. It says, persons participating in a trap, neuter, release program for feral cats who engage in an ongoing management of feral cat colony. Persons participating in a trap, neuter, release program must keep documentation on each cat in the program and provide it to the zoning administrator if needed. So that goes to the regulation part. Did not want to create legislation that was going to require the town to have to go out and tag feral cats all over town. This is a volunteer program. It's good for the town because it makes the cat population healthier. It's good for the town because all the feral cats get spayed and neutered so they don't create more cats. I'm going to disagree with your analysis. There haven't been any kittens born in our block in 9 months.
Under our garage, I guess it was January they were born.
Last January, that's what I said, 9 months.
Well, this past January 2013.
If they
Because
were,
I took them to the Humane Society.
okay, then that's probably why I didn't see them. But
There were so many
most
of
of,
them.
so again, all the cats on our block have been spayed and neutered and released.
That still doesn't make them not go to the bathroom everywhere. If you have a dog, you have a little finger, when you walk your dog, you're supposed to take your little bag, clean it up, keep your dog in your yard. Dogs don't run free, they're animals too.
Understood.
That's the point of them using the bathroom on everyone's lawn, killing all the animals, killing the bunnies, the birds, the squirrels. You're not outside a lot, Wayne. You're not an outside
Again,
person, and you
this-
don't see all the stuff that goes on.
And
You're not, and you're
Okay.
busy,
With
but
the
you're not out there.
With the
Again.
destruction of property also, is there gonna be an account to fix the properties that they destroy if we do allow them to stay in town? Because I don't
Okay,
honestly
so-
think it's fair that everybody has to pay for the inconvenience of them if they don't agree with them and they are tearing things up. I threw away 3 little type toys today, and Miss Green actually seen the guy hauling them off because the urine had like stained them and the feces just, I wasn't gonna let my children play with that. So will there be like a budget to like, proof of, purchase, proof of this, proof of that, to replace the things they tear up, like they tore the pool cover up twice? They're not cheap.
Agreed.
know.
No, there's nothing like that in this ordinance.
And-
But let,
And there's no intention to it. Again, the ordinance was just to allow people to participate in the program. And this is bigger than just our block. There are feral cats all over Hampstead. There's been feral cats on that alley longer than I've lived on that alley. I've only lived there since 2001.
I know Mr. Truman used to have a whole bunch, he had a lot of problems, I remember that a couple of years ago.
Okay, so what we're doing now is we're trying to control the population and make it a healthier population and manage it. But it's more than just about our block, it's about the whole town.
And I think it's a
There are feral
wonderful-
cats behind Millender's.
It's a wonderful
There
idea,
are
Mr. Thomas.
feral cats up by the mill, there's feral cats behind White Shopping Center, they're all over town. And like I said, there's some other people here that can speak about the feral cat program.
It's a wonderful ideal, it is the kindest ideal, because you know what, I love animals, I have dogs, I love them. I even have this, my son got this bearded dragon thing, I'm not too crazy about him, but I feed him and he costs me a lot of money, I love him too. It's just what they're doing to the yards and to the other, my daughter found a dead bird today. She cried, we had to have a burial service in the backyard, here I am making a cross, burying a bird, having prayer time, when I'm supposed to be, finishing mowing the grass, because my daughter is devastated because of this bird died, and, well, why did it die? Because she's 3. It's a wonderful program, it's a great ideal. The only problem with it is these cats are not just your everyday cats, they're not friendly, they're not nice, they're not bringing anything to the community, because you can't pet them, you can't touch them, you can't walk near them, they hiss at you, they act crazy, they poop, they pee everywhere, they tear things up, they knock your garbage out, and that's what makes it not great. It's a wonderful though.
You've made this point several times.
But what
And
I'm
what I'm
saying
trying
is,
to tell
I
you
agree with
is-
you, it's a very nice ideal, it's a great ideal.
And your solution sounds like you want to have the cats picked up taken away, and put to sleep.
It would very
And-
much hurt my heart to see that happen.
But-
But for the safety of my grandmother, for my children when they go there, for the safety of my neighbors that might not pay that much attention to their kids, we're sitting in here doing this about cats. Do you know what? My grandmother is petrified in her house because her neighbors sell drugs. Why aren't we talking about something important like that instead of something stupid about some cats? It should
Hopefully that's
just
not in
be-
town limits, when we have the chief right over here, you should talk to him about that.
I should, well, I thought they would, I thought they,
Right.
I don't know, they can't tell, there's a lot of traffic. But the point is, it's a very good-hearted intention, and it would hurt my heart very bad to think that them cats had to get put to sleep. But I also know in the same sense, I would sleep better and feel better that that had to happen to protect my daughter's pretty little face, because if I turned my head for 30 seconds, or walked inside to get a drink while she's in my my grandmother's fenced-in backyard, that a cat didn't tear her face up. Because my cousin, she's 30 years old, scars all the way down her eyes, her lip had to be reconstructed from a cat smelling milk on her and scratching her face. I would not want that to happen to my child.
Okay.
I wouldn't
let's-
either.
Yes. Wayne, what's the language that we're actually,
I put it in front of you.
I see it, so there's, what's there in section 5, and then there's in parens, and we're adding what's in parens?
No. What's there is all underlined, so all that's being added.
Okay.
It's the definition and then.
How are we gonna
five.
know who are the persons participating in the trap, neuter, and release program?
Because, as I explained before, and I think I showed documentation to the Planning and Zoning Commission when I presented to them, each cat, when it's treated, you're given a paper, identifies the program that you're in, like Metro Ferals, identifies the cat, description of the cat, who the person is that brought it in, all the things that were done to the cat. So that's how you prove that you have it. So the thought process was that everybody that participates in the program keeps the paperwork on the cats. If there's an issue with a cat and somebody's called, or there's a complaint, then it can be proven that that cat is in the program. Oh, to answer the question that I didn't get a chance to answer is, each cat that's in a spay-neuter program has their left ear clipped. So you can tell that whether or not they're in a program. And from what I understand from animal control, they won't come out and pick up any cats that have been in a spay-neuter program. It's hard to get them to come out and respond for cats anyway. Cats are held to a different level of scrutiny than dogs. They don't, if a dog goes in your neighbor's yard, the county has rules against that. They feel like cats they can't control. So, but I think somebody out here wants to speak.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Cindy Wellboy, and I live at 2525 Hannibal Pike in Hampstead. I hope I've had everything correct. I work with a group called the Animal Advocates of Carroll County. We are 5013C. We are having a walk next Saturday at the park, if anybody's interested, to raise money to trap, neuter, release feral cats in Hampstead and Manchester. We have 2 cats with us tonight, kittens that were found in the alley in Hampstead. What our goal is to relocate these kittens. We have hand-raised these kittens for a month at our own discretion. We've had them vetted, everything, because we're volunteers trying to help with the feral cat population. Feral cats do not come up and scratch people in the face unless someone goes up to them. Usually they run away. I've had cats for 50 years. And I know feral cats. It's hard to trap them. Once you trap, neuter, release them, usually the males don't become as aggressive because they are neutered. With your problem, I will volunteer personally to come to your house and put litter boxes around it. That'll help. I'll replace your pool cover. I don't care. These poor cats, like he said, you want to just round them up and take them to Humane Society and kill them all? What if your daughter had a kitten and we did that to her kitten? You wouldn't like it. So these cats are our town cats. We're trying to, our nonprofit is raising money to TNR, all the animals in Hampstead and Manchester. We feel bad for them. Right now I've got 6 kittens that I'm fostering, that I have found homes for almost all of them through Facebook, Craigslist, whatever. And that's what we're trying to do. So if you knew me before this happened, you could have called me and said, I have 3 kittens in my backyard. Guess what? I'll come trap the kittens and the mother, I guarantee you, and take them and get them
And I
home.
will
So,
commend you for what you're doing, because that is a great thing. And you know what? Apparently you have a very deep passion for it, and I respect you for that. And I respect you for your opinion, and I hope you respect me for my opinion.
yeah, I do.
But I understand you saying that they're not supposed to come up to anybody, they're supposed to run and this and that. But
I
Is
mean,
it
and
worth
going
the
to the
what
bathroom
if
is a
that-
natural thing. Killing birds, I'm sorry your daughter had a big crying attack over killing a bird.
She's free.
Cats kill birds. My cats
I know.
bring me presents.
But
That's
she's
their way of showing that
free.
they like you.
She's
They bring, I don't
free,
care.
and
She's
Okay.
free.
I don't
Excuse
have,
me,
Hello.
I don't have you
Back
anymore.
Back
I'm just
toward-
saying, you know,
we're up here.
You know,
All right.
we all have our issues.
What's a
but I'm just
manageable,
giving-
what's a manageable number of, in a cat colony? Is 7 normal for a small
Yeah, that's a
area?
good cat
Yeah.
colony size, and they are ear tipped. We take them to the main, wherever we take them to get fixed, they identify by color, by sex, whatever. They're 7 is manageable, yes. 7 to 10 is a manageable colony. I mean, and, you know, you can set out, we need help too. We're volunteers, you know, we're giving our time. But I'm saying, you know, it's easy if you get volunteers to feed them, set up a feeding station, like Wayne said, get them TNR'd. And usually, I mean, they're not gonna go after people. I'm sorry they're going in your yard, but the other animals go in our yards too. And, you know, 7 is not a big population. There's 20 of them up in Manchester I'm working with right now, TNR on those. So I'm just saying, from my point of view, we're trying to help. We have 2 kittens here for adoption, if anybody wants to look at them. They're all their shots and everything are done.
and I only have 2 more points to make, and I really swear I won't say one more thing. But my grandmother is 81 years old. She has Alzheimer's. It seems to every day get worse. She actually goes with my uncle for 2 to 3 weeks at a time to give us a break. And since my father has cancer, it's too much to babysit her and babysit him and get him to chemo and radiation. It's too much. God forbid she'd be in one of her, like, attacks, I call them. She'd go outside. What if she did, God love it, catch one of these cats and they scratch her and do all that? She's 81 years old. She's not in her right mind. That's not against the law to get Alzheimer's. God forbid it could happen to your mother, any of you, yourselves. It's just, I actually, when the newsletter came out and said you couldn't feed them or da-da-da-da-da, I mean, it's been probably a year ago, I think, Mr. Plant sent out. I brought a picture to Mr. Plant of all of them eating, and I said, why is this allowed? And you know, I have all these problems over our shed that we had no clue. We paid a lot of money to get this shed brought there, you know, and the cats look identical. I understand that they have their ears clipped and they're neutered and they're this and that, but honest in your hearts, how can you tell one black cat from another black cat? You can't. They all look the same. They're all black or black and white. They all look identical. So with their ears clipped or not, you really don't know where they came from. You don't know if the fox down the road just ate his ear off because he was messing with his food. You don't know what happened to him. If a dog got him, you don't know.
Alright.
It's, I mean, I really do feel bad because I do think they are very compassionate about this. I mean, I would feel better if you are gonna decide on this to have the health department come out and assess all the situations and test the feces that are around and things of that nature and see if they are healthy and they don't have anything in their feces.
Well, as Mr. Plant said, we've tried to contact the health department there so
Health
far.
department is, that's not there.
That's
not
a
in there.
human issue, not an animal. Yes, sir, in the back.
My name is Joe Rochick. I'm I'm from Marriottsville. I'm part of Metro Ferals, which is an advocacy group for trap neuter return. We have a low-cost spay neuter clinic, and we have the knowledge and the experience and the training that we train people to trap neuter and return their colonies. The problem is already there. Cats are multiplying. They're in every city. They're almost in every neighborhood. There's 3 populations that are victims of this. The cats themselves, there's inbreeding, they're scrounging for food, they're unhealthy because they have no shots. It's a miserable life to be an unmanaged feral colony. But they're social creatures, they get together and they procreate. And when colony gets too big for the area, they split off and go somewhere else. If you don't feed them, they just go otherwise and they dig into more trash and they make more of a mess. So that isn't a solution. That's a close our eyes, bury our head to the problem. The trap kill is not the solution because that leaves a vacuum effect which has been proved and the breeding of the remaining ones, because you never get them all except with trap neuter and turn done the right way. Second population that is the victim is the people that see this cat that needs food and starts feeding it and finds little resources to help them take care of this animal. It's more expensive, they keep procreating, they're sick, they get into cars and everything else. They're miserable. But you try your best to save these animals. The other victim is the neighbor who, the cat's making a mess on their pool cover, they're making a mess in their flower bed, and et cetera. All of these are not the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is the person that let that cat go, the original cat, without having it spayed or neutered. That guilty person's long gone. He's not here. He's not represented. He's not part of this. The problem he left behind in every one of these neighborhoods is there and needs to be dealt with. The way it was dealt with in the past was trying to, animal control is primarily a complaint-driven organization. They can be little more than that. They go out and they trap the most easiest trap place. They can't do any more than that. They don't have the budget, they don't have the community support, they can't get them trapping obvious ones. They only increase the birth rate, they only, long-term, they're not really helping the problem. They're satisfying that complaint. Animal control in Carroll County is one of the best ones we've ever worked with. They're a good organization, but they're limited in what they can do. What works, trap, neuter, return, and we use the word return rather than release, doesn't work either if you don't do it completely. If you don't have a caretaker that sees and makes sure that any newcomers, although newcomers are not really invited in very well with a neutered, a managed colony. Once they've been spayed or neutered, they start to decline, as you said. The attrition starts immediately. No more cats are being born, and no more are really being invited in. There's not males coming for the females. There's the mixed colony becomes a little bit territorial. If one comes in without an ear tip, that person who's feeding that cat sees that, gets the help from people like us, traps it, gets it fixed, and it's managed. The only way to get the trap and relocate doesn't work either, because again, it's been proven that if you take an area where cats have congregated, and you take all those cats out of it, and I have case after case after case where this has happened in our experience, a new colony will form almost immediately. There's one in Laurel, they had 20 cats. They found barn homes for them, they trapped them all, big community effort. We told them it's not gonna work, that much will work. 1 year later, they came back and helped us trap, neuter, and return the 20 that now are there. So they had 1 year it repopulated. The only thing that works is to trap all the cats by the caretaker who's feeding those cats. And with our help, they can trap every one of them. Sometimes it takes more than one trapping. Sometimes it takes a couple. We have different traps and different types of traps, different logic used to trap those cats. You have to trap the entire colony and keep it managed to be successful. It doesn't bring more in, it doesn't invite other wildlife, it reduces the population over time. It's the only solution that works, and we've seen it over and over and over again.
What would you say to the two ladies in the front row of the nuisance they cause to the adjoining property owners?
And we understand they are victims of this problem as well. And burying our head in the sand will not help their problem. One of the things is that their colony that's adjacent to where they are, or anywhere around there, is trap, neuter, and return. The problem decreases immediately. But another thing that can be, there's a number of things that can be done beyond that. There are numerous deterrents that can keep animals away from that property. And rescue and advocacy groups like ours are very willing to help any and all people that would like to have the deterrents. They have motion detecting sprinkler systems, which I guarantee will chase a cat away. They have sound devices that put a sound that we don't hear, again, motion detector activated, that will chase away the cats. There are solutions to those kind of problems. But the worst thing is to leave the problem unattended, or to do something meaning something that actually aggravates the problem, increases the birth rate, because you've taken away. People who take kittens out of the colony and leave the mother unspayed, all they do is make the problem worse. That mother will become pregnant quicker because her kittens were taken away. So the only solution is trap, neuter, and return. We even encourage people to let the kittens grow up with the mother, trap them together, and return them.
One more time, yes ma'am.
Why can we not put a feeding station somewhere other than the neighborhood? Put it in a park somewhere, feed them somewhere other than the neighborhood. If you gotta feed them somewhere else.
Expert?
They kind of go where they want to go. I mean, you can
If the
over
city's the
time.
animal
lead them
Let's,
to other areas.
you asked the question, let's let him answer.
You can draw cats to other areas by doing that type of thing. And yeah, that's not a wrong solution if it's an agreed upon solution. If you want them to be located someplace else, you have to have somebody willing to feed them at that. You have to move the station slowly so they get accustomed to it. Cats are not very well trainable, but they're very well conditionable. If you see the little bit of difference, you do something repetitive enough, you make it in their interest, and they'll do it. That's what helps us trap them. That's also what helps you manage them.
Other comments before we go back? One more time.
Okay. I feel really bad. Okay, there's 2 of us and it feels like 50 others that want it.
You're
I-
2 residents, I haven't heard of
I
one other resident who had a comment, so.
Oh,
I
except for Ann.
honestly think
Well, I said
everybody
Ann.
that is
One
here
other.
for these cats, they're the cats' voices. I mean, if they can't talk, so they're advocating for them, and I think it's great. But the point of the matter is, I was sitting here thinking, like she said, do you want them all trapped, took the humane study, they'll be euthanized. They'll be euthanized because they're not adoptable cats. They're not cats you can trust to take home. They're not cats you can go in there and adopt and take. That's one of the major issues, besides the pooping and the peeing, their aggression. So she kinda, in a sense, contradicted herself by saying, they're gonna go to the humane study and get put to sleep. They're gonna get put to sleep because
Well, I
they're
think
not
the comment
adoptable
that John
animals.
said in the back was, though, that you take these out, somebody's coming to replace them. You're not just eliminating the problem, all you're gonna do is have the problem again.
Not if you're not feeding them, because it's like, let's say, okay, if you have
Alright.
birds, right, you put a bird feeder out. The birds are gonna flock in to eat the bird feeder, you know, they're gonna come and play in the bird bath and everything. When you stop putting the bird feeder out, the birds are gonna stop coming eventually, aren't they, because there's nothing there for them to eat. There's nothing there for them to do. Why are they gonna keep coming? There's nothing there. The point and principle of the matter is, the newsletter a year ago said you'd be charged $250 per cat if you let them, if you fed them or did anything with them. Then, nothing ever has happened. And I'm not saying that, and honestly, I feel like, I guess intimidated, like, am I gonna get retaliation for doing this? Because I really do believe everybody here is genuine about these cats, and I feel terrible saying anything bad about them. But in the same sense, I guess if you're not, I mean, I like cats, but I'm not fond, like, I don't want them in my house or anything. I just feel that they're just the way they act and the poop and the pee and the messes and
Okay.
everything, it's just not worth it.
Got it,
But they're not adoptable.
got it.
Could I make
One more comment, and then we gotta move on.
I just wanna know is, because you mentioned back that there was, a solution of what she could do. And by the way, I have a feral cat that I have brought into my house, and he's a very loving, wonderful cat right now, so anyway. But anyhow, but the thing is, I guess, is there something as citizens that we can do? Maybe get with the charities that are here, help you out, is there some process? Is it strictly, you said animal control won't come out for a cat? I mean, is there, what can we do? Is there some solution that kind of fits the both worlds? If not, then, I
The
understand.
problem is, it's not just us, it's other people
Oh,
right
I
in our
understand.
neighborhood,
I
but
have a
they
neighbor-
are too
I know.
afraid to come speak up because I guess some people just get intimidated by certain people's positions and things, and they don't wanna speak up, but I have to for my grandmother, she has to for her family.
I understand, but
There's
All right.
there should be a solution.
Here's the deal,
Just-
as I see it.
Yeah.
All right,
Is there
and
a
I gotta
solution?
eventually either sign this thing or not sign it after it's passed, or not passed. I would think if you had an animal of any type that was showing aggressive behavior toward human beings, that becomes a welfare situation, and then we'd have to take the step to make sure that that animal was trapped and removed. To the extent that it's a manageable population and they're not impacting other people's property and not harming the overall neighborhood, it seems like a reasonable policy to pass this. But even if you pass this and you have an issue with aggressive cats or somebody, any type of animal that is impacting your property or impacting your welfare, whatever this says, we still have the authority to come in and remove that animal.
Thank you, that's what I was looking for.
Just one more thing in closing. I have created an area in the back of my property for cats to go to the bathroom, and I have provided my neighbor repellent to use in their gardens to keep the cats
It
away.
was indoor repellent, so the rain washed it right away. I bought mothballs and stuff.
All right, well,
Yeah.
the other thing to do is, if there is an aggressive cat or two that are in that colony that are issues, then Brad's the proper call to
Well, then
make.
somebody needs to come
And then,
tomorrow, please.
two, if you want to ask them about the motion detector for nighttime or whatever, or the sprinkler, so maybe they get conditioned that they're stepping
And
on
they'll
this
pay for
property
them?
and get, that's what I heard.
They'll pay for the motion detector?
Sure.
So, there you go. So, maybe there's a medium here, and
How
we
about
can.
this? This is not an unrealistic thing, I don't think. Why don't we postpone this till next week, and you guys yourselves come out there about 6, 7 o'clock when they're getting fed, and you come assess the cats yourself?
But what my point is this two sentences that we're adding to the ordinance doesn't keep any of that other stuff from happening. To the extent they're an issue, and there's an issue with property or welfare, the town has to deal with it. But the extent we can lessen it with dealing with this program, we should also try that.
Okay, so if we have a problem, then we can come to you, and it will, Mr. Plant, and it will be addressed immediately.
As quickly as we can.
Okay.
There, you know,
Well, I just feel it's unfair, because I feel like if I had all these cats, and the newsletter came out, $250 a cat, I would've paid $250 a cat for feeding them. And it never was it never was enforced upon the Thomases. And Miss Nora is a very nice lady, and I'm sure she does it because she's a kind woman. And Mr. Thomas, he's nice, he's sometimes a little difficult to get along with, I mean, everybody is, I am too.
So am I,
But you know what, everybody has that notion, sometimes people let it be shown, and sometimes people
Okay.
don't. But I really wish somebody would come out and just look at the cats themselves. I'm asking, you're gonna pass it, that's great, somebody just come out and deal
Well,
with it.
right now, we're
I
trying
don't-
to stop it from, we have 9 or 7 cats we're dealing with now, instead of 70 or 90 cats, because people don't have the opportunity to, try to at least, put a cork in the dam at this point in time, and then worry about what we
Who's
have.
responsible if they hurt somebody though, one of these cats? The people that are deciding to take them in?
I don't know, good question.
Well, then can we bring that up for the next meeting, that who's gonna be responsible for the cats when they hurt or destroy something? Who's gonna be responsible, the person that decides to adopt them?
Well, I think that comes to the town, and like I said, if they're destroying property or they're dangerous to persons, then we have to take the next step. All right?
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
I will only be a second. Ruth Johnson, Metro Ferals. What I wanted to say, there's many folks that already know in Hampstead, our phone number and who to call. We're happy, we're up here a lot. We're happy to come up and meet with the two, I'm sorry, I didn't get your names, the two women in the front, because we're not of the belief that you should have to tolerate it. We're of the belief that we have to solve it. So we're happy to go up there and see
Okay.
what we can do to solve the problem.
Try that step, please.
And I have a card here with her number.
All right, good. You'll make,
I kinda would feel bad though, honestly, doing that, cause I don't feel that it's someone else's obligation to do it. I feel bad. I don't know.
well, they're willing, so that's the step. All right. On to much more mundane matters, other than feral cats. It's called a budget. It's only got a couple $1 million in
$2
it.
million, not a big deal.
All right. If anybody has a comment about the budget, I'll just give a quick prelude. I think basically it's an overall pretty basic budget. We're a reflection of the overall economy. The overall economy seems to have leveled out, therefore, our income seems to have stabilized. Our income is primarily generated by the property taxes that you all pay. Property values took a dip, therefore our income took a dip. We also get a share of the taxes that you pay the state. They give back to the local economy as well. And based on the numbers that we're seeing, it looks like they've flattened out as well. So all those are good things. Another item that's in the capital budget is highway user funds. The state has pretty much decided they wanted 90% of the money that came to the locals that you pay for at the gas pump to be put into the state general fund. They really have not made a continuing commitment to take that back. So they gave us a one-time, I guess, credit, if you will, of about $100,000 that we're going to put to good use this year. And part of that expense and capital in the budget is a bond that we've already issued so that we can do a number of roads, get a little bit of economy of scale, and we'll talk about the paving contract that we're going to approve later on in the day, but it came in much lower than we thought it would, so that's a good thing. We'll be able to do more roads. Expenses, the two largest expenses are trash and salaries. We just redid the trash contract with a positive result. I think that's also a reflection that, things aren't ever increasing other than employee insurance, which continues to go through the roof. Whatever programs out there, government sponsored or private. But the trash contract's been set for another 5 years, so we know what that expense will be. That's been fixed. Salaries, basically an overall 2% increase to employees. There are other increases that we're making, one-time bumps to make some of our more valued employees competitive, so we keep them here and they don't end up someplace else. So overall, the salaries in the budget increased 3%. On the capital side, there's not a lot to it. The big wild card is out in the future, and that big wild card is the Main Street revitalization. Our piece of the Main Street revitalization basically comes down to the water pipe that goes the full length of Main Street from railroad track to railroad track. We found out that the state, not really surprising to us, but we weren't on the awardee list this year. Pretty much it was all big projects, public transportation projects, and closer in to the metropolitan areas that got funded. But I think between the engineering that we've done, the work we've done with SHA, should the state ever decide that they want to fund our project, they do have a little incentive in that they would be getting rid of the road, we would be taking control of it. When they're repaving it, we're redoing the water line. We've hired an engineer to basically do the studies necessary so that when the money comes from the state, we're ready to go as well. We're trying to match those projects up as close as possible, but we're not going to go in with the state contract because basically we'd be the tail wagging the dog and just along for the ride. We do think it's more efficient and less expensive if we do the work ourselves. We learned that lesson from Tawnytown. With the state contract requirements, it cost them about another $1 million to do their project, which was a little bit more expensive than ours, but you get it added at least 20–25% to the cost of their project, so you get the order of magnitude of what we're dealing with, and $1 million in a $2.5 million budget is real money. So overall, long range, we're pretty good. I think we're in good shape. We came through the downturn in good shape. And when we do the water line replacement, we will be bonding a sizable portion of that. Only makes sense. It's a very long-term project. The pipe's been, for the most part, in the ground since 1935, the one we do have. So you can see why we're doing the long-term money, and hopefully the rate environment is still with us when we get around to doing the revitalization piece. With that, I'll take questions. Ann, I was waiting.
I didn't. Well, actually, did you read the paper this morning?
Was the
Carroll
paper?
County Times?
No.
And I'm like,
Sorry.
and I don't always believe everything I read, but it actually told you that your expenses from this year to the budget would decrease by 18%. I just want to know. I mean, that's great if it is, but I mean, I didn't think so.
But you're comparing budget to budget, and that's an estimate.
Is that what she's doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an estimate.
It didn't say. It said
It's not
revenues
actual to actual.
Okay.
And to the extent that you have a capital expenditure in one year and you don't have it in another year, it really blows it out of proportion.
Well, I looked at your actuals, and that's why I said it didn't look like she knew what she was talking about, but she didn't say whether it was budgets or actuals, so I wasn't really sure. But
It truly amazes me that everybody focuses on budgets, and when we get the audited financial statement in here, nobody shows up.
looks at them. Yeah. No, actually, that's fine. That's why I said that was the only question, because I wasn't sure what she was talking about, and I was gonna ask you how you did it if you did, so, but no, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
Glad somebody's paying attention. Any other questions on the budget? I know, 1, 2, 3. All right, we'll close the public hearing. Take a deep breath. Now we'll call the regular meeting of the mayor and town council to order. And we'll start with, please rise for the opening prayer and the pledge of allegiance. Dear Lord, we submit ourselves to you as your servants and the servants of the people of Hampstead who've placed their trust in us. Please allow every word that is spoken and every action taken to be in the best interest of Hampstead. O Lord, bless this meeting and our town. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll, please.
Mayor Nevin.
I'm here.
Ms. Duff.
Here.
Mr. Babylon. Here. Mr. Renahan.
Here.
Mr. Cavey.
Here.
Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Minute approvals.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Staff report.
still getting over the public hearing, I'm sorry.
Take a deep breath. All we did was
Okay.
tell the angry crowd to come see you if they had any problems.
That's right, I mean, that's the way it works. Downtown revitalization, the mayor already mentioned in his earlier presentation that we did not make the state's funding list for the next year for transportation projects, unfortunately. I'm unclear if that means another year delay. I would think that it's gonna mean at least another year down the road, so. In the June, we did have a June state highway meeting scheduled for here, and apparently they forgot to tell us, cause they didn't show up, that we had people here, and it was a little bit of an unfortunate situation. But I will tell you, the breakout project is still on schedule, and we're still looking for shovels in the ground in August, and that's the breakout project down there, Chipley's Jewelry. The auditors will be in to finish up the end of year's financials on August 5th. The paving project, which we're gonna cover here in a little bit, we'll be starting on hopefully within the next couple of weeks. The first area we're gonna be working in is sections of Willow and Shiloh Ave. And I did provide the council with a list of the initial streets and so on. And along with the downtown revitalization, the Main Street Merchants Association is having a breakfast here at the town hall on Thursday the 13th, which is this coming Thursday. And they will be having a presentation by the State Highway. So Dennis German and Yu Zhang and the crew, Dave Coyne will be here to meet with the Main Street merchants. We have also, though, invited the Hampstead Business Association, so they were also offered the opportunity to come. So that will be going on. The annual water quality report, we took a little bit of a different approach to it this year, and it will be published and mailed out with the newsletter. By doing it this way, rather than the pamphlet that we did the last year, we're saving approximately $1,840 on the water report. And I wanted to thank, it was sort of a team effort. Anna, Cheryl, Lorena, and Roger and Kevin all kind of worked together on that. So that'll be hitting the streets in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Panther Tower, AT&T's gonna be doing some work on Panther Tower, so if you see anybody crawling around like Spider-Man on the side of the tower, that's AT&T. They're replacing obsolete antennas with up-to-date units. There will not be any additional units, so it won't affect the current lease that we have in effect with them. The Water Resource County Council meeting this month has been canceled due to a conflict with the MML convention, so that won't be going on. Last week, we had 4 of our gentlemen from Public Works, Mike Harris, Richard Armacost, Henry Black, and Toby David attended Water Operator Level 3 training, which would be an upgrade from their current 2. And they took the test on Friday. It'll be a while before we get the results.
Good.
LEOPS, Anna will be attending LEOPS administrator training on Friday the 14th, which is this Friday in Hagerstown.
LEOPS is Law Enforcement Officers Pension System.
Thank you. The last thing wasn't on there that I added today. Just to clarify, so everybody knows, we've had a little bit of a problem with yard waste. Just so everybody, a reminder, if you put yard waste in the trash can, they will not pick it up. It's not to go in the trash can. It's supposed to be in a big paper bag type thing, or if it sticks in bushes or whatnot, you tie it up and put it there, they'll take it. I guess what happened was there was onesies and twosies, and Ecology picked it up just as a courtesy. They weren't making a big deal about it, but then the word got around, I guess, that they were gonna pick it up, and so we had to put a stop to it. So please put it out the right way, and everybody will be happy. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
You skipped over number 6.
Did I? Did I miss 6?
One is Main Street, or the factory.
Oh,
across
I
the
beg
street
your
here.
pardon. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I'm in such a rush. I'm still getting moving. 1041 South Carroll Street, which is right across the street from us. And I understand that was originally Joseph Bank back in the day. We have a new realtor who is handling it. Came and met with the mayor and I to talk over what would be allowed and what would be good use of that building. and they seem to be very motivated to get somebody in there. So we're looking forward, hopefully, to get somebody in that building in the near future. Thank you.
Other questions?
I've been putting yard waste out in trash cans and bags for years, so has this always been the policy?
It always has, and we haven't enforced it, but the ecology said it was getting out of hand, and they were getting trash cans with dirt and bricks and stones, and they're not gonna, so we're gonna start enforcing the policy. And it has to be across the board, it has to be consistent, so.
Other questions for Brad?
Make sure you put that on the website and the newsletter.
It is, we're getting the word out.
Okay.
All right, we'll go with the oversight responsibility. We'll go this way, saving the best for last.
Fantastic.
Wow, thanks.
So there, pressure's on.
Water. May average water usage was 420,000 gallons per day. In June, that was 443,000 gallons per day. A little bit up. Rainfall total for May was 2.34 inches. The rainfall for June so far is 1.88. We're working on the reading for the second quarter water meters, the second quarter water sampling for MDE, monitoring requirements collected and delivered to Enviro Chem Lab. The stage 1 DBPR, the disinfection byproduct rule sample, was taken on May the 31st by Enviro Chem Lab. We will switch to stage 2 DBPR in 2014, which will require 2 samples per year. Water shutoff for non-payment completed for the first quarter of 2013. Assisted Anna in the CCR, the Consumer Confidence Report, the annual water quality report. Working on end-of-year water inventory. We will be working on the annual performance evaluations. Wells 15, 22, and 23 remains out of service due to the amount of water withdrawal on the permit. We have kept testing up to date in case we need to put in service. Wells 20 and 21 remain out of service due to high nitrate levels. We pumped off both wells on April the 1st, 2013 and took 2 nitrate samples to the lab. Both wells came back still high at 12.0. Richard, Michael, Henry, and Toby attended the short course for water operators on June the 3rd through the 7th, 2013 at Mount St. Mary's. This course will help them prepare for taking the MDE Class 3 exam on June the 8th. Roger will also be taking the exam on June the 8th. Okay. Yeah, got it. That's it. That's all I got.
Thanks. Tim?
All right. For parks, the new benches are in. It's the benches at the Veterans Memorial Park that'll be getting replaced. And on top of that, we also have an Eagle Scout project that's going to install benches at the municipal park over by the new playground that's there. We still are having a problem with kids vandalizing the new toilets at the municipal park. So far, they've kicked in the other door vent and have been urinating on the floors. Someone's also cut down the nets at the volleyball courts. They've been repaired, but if it happens again, they're not going to be replaced. And just a note to anyone, not that I think anybody in here is responsible for any of this, but it is illegal, and if you are caught, you will be arrested and prosecuted for this. So, and finally, we've finally expended all of the Project Open Space grant money, and we're in the process of getting the final reimbursements. So, that's all.
Thank you. Jason?
Planning and zoning meeting was held on May 22nd at 7 p.m. We approved the minutes from the April 24th meeting. Brad has touched on the Main Street revitalization update. The breakout project is slated to start in August, as he mentioned. And as both Chris and Brad mentioned, we were not on the list for sponsored SHA projects this year. So Hampstead Industrial Park had a presentation. It was for informational purposes only. In the event that Planning and Zoning Commission needed to be aware of the situation at that location in the future. Their AutoZone concept plan was approved pending the submission of SHA and county comments. There was, I believe, 2 outstanding still. The county planning annual report was approved with the pending the addition of ordinance 498 on page 32. Basically, there was an ordinance that was passed by the Planning and Zoning, by the Commission or Council that was not included in a report that should have been had credit given to us. So there's no new business. Meeting was adjourned. The next planning and zoning meeting will be here at Town Hall, June 26th, at 7 p.m. Is that still scheduled with MML and everything? That's still okay?
Yeah, I won't be, Kevin's gonna cover it for me.
Perfect.
We'll be coming back, that's the day we come back.
You be back?
I'll be back.
All right.
No problem.
The Hampstead Business Association had a meeting on June 5th. The directory is coming soon. Told Doug Hood I'd help him get it finished off so we could get it out. So he sent me a copy of it to review, and I'm going over it now and found about 6 more ads that he could get in it. So hopefully we'll wrap that up in the next couple of weeks and they can get that out. And their summer feast is coming up in August. I believe it's the 12th. I'm not exactly sure on the date, but I'll have more for that next month. Hampstead train station, we opened up on Hampstead Day. Turnout was rather disappointing. We didn't have a train layout this year because the guys had scheduling conflict. That might have impacted, but I think everything on Hampstead Day was a little slow.
The weather didn't help.
Yeah, the forecast for the weather didn't help. That's all I had.
Okay. All right, Marlene, brush yourself.
Hampstead Farmers Market Report. In our first 2 weeks, we've hosted nearly 1,000 customers. So we're just 14 people shy. So I'm counting how many people in here could come, and we'd hit 1,000. So better get over
How's that compared to the first 2 weeks last year?
Probably not, you know, I didn't go back and look at the numbers, it's probably close, but I think it's better. So we are on pace to seeing over 8,000 customers this year. Opening day was a huge success. We had 20 vendors and over 530 customers, and we had great customer feedback on our new vendors and our returning vendors. Thanks to Mayor Nevin and his lovely assistant, Madison Cavey. The ribbon cutting ceremony went well. And many thanks to the men of the Public Works Department because they did a lot of behind-the-scenes work for us to help us get ready. I update on a regular basis the market's Facebook page and the homepage of the website with current information about events and vendors, who's going to be there, trying to highlight new vendors. The exciting news is that we have a memorandum of understanding between the market and Joseph A. Bank. It's been finalized and we're just awaiting signatures, and it will allow the market to use the Joseph A. Bank's north parking lot on August the 10th and August the 17th when the carnival is in town. It's a little bit more scenic location than we've had in the past with the pond and the poopy geese and whatever. But we're very excited about this new location, and I just need to take one step at a time. We're hoping that they will have such a wonderful experience that they will welcome us every year as a regular location. So we're going to get that signed here at Town Hall, and then Sharon and I are going to make a trip over to Joseph Bank and get it signed. So that really is a big step because we've been like nomads for the last 3 years, and to have a permanent temporary location is really going to be important. The May 24th issue of Hampstead Life magazine, I don't know if anybody saw it, featured the farmers market as its cover story. John Kelvey did a nice feature article in the Advocate about 2 weeks ago, so we're getting some really nice publicity. I attended the June 3rd meeting of the Carroll County Health Department's Partnership for a Healthier Carroll, and I suggested that they contact the Community Media Center, which is here tonight, to develop broadcast programs. They have a number of health initiatives that they're interested in publicizing. They didn't know exactly how to go about it, so I put them in contact with Sherry Taylor over there. I also spoke with Jamie Levy of the partnership. She's interested in setting up a market booth to promote awareness of sun safety. So they hand out lip balm and sunscreen and things like that. And they're actually looking for next year to get competition among the Carroll County towns to see which town is the most active. And they may start by having the town's mayors set a good example by wearing pedometers for a month. So I don't know whose idea that was.
We got this wrapped
I
up.
just can't imagine. So we just want you to come
Depends
to
what
the
month
market.
it is. May, we're good.
What's that?
May, we're good. January, not so much.
We'll see what we can do. We just want you all to come to the market. Our new vendors are turning out to be very popular. We had Elk Run Vineyards there last week. They sold out. Furnace Hills Coffee from Westminster is doing very well also. We have a lot of new upscale craft vendors. Hopefully the produce will be coming in soon. We're still waiting on some early spring things. So, but you just have to keep coming back and see what's there. Thank you.
Yes, sir, it's your turn. Police report.
Well, before I get started, I'd like to thank Councilman Renahan. He stopped over and we had a chat, and he got a chance to sit in the police car, or not sit in the police car, but look at how the police cars are equipped.
cuff him?
No, he wasn't. He still had all his stuff. So, thank you for coming over and visiting with us and seeing how the police department is kind of run. And thank you to Marlene also for helping us get the message out about combating underage drinking with. She allowed us to take one of the banners that we got from one of the task force that I'm involved in and place it at the farmer's market. So there's two things that I've been kind of working with two council members on. Traffic safety, Hampstead police officers issued 425 citations and warnings in May. Obviously that was click it or ticket month, which causes a severe increase in that number. There were 16 crashes reported. 6 of those crashes occurred on Main Street, and once again, the leading offending area is the parking lots in town, which had 7. The most dangerous place in Hampstead continues to be the parking lots. No other street had more than 1 crash. May was Law Enforcement Challenge Click It or Ticket Month. Their officers were obviously very visible and active during that month. Serious crime during May, there were 5 thefts and 2 burglaries. One of the burglaries we spoke about during last month's meeting was the one at Dunkin' Donuts. The other involved a person who was kind of hid himself in Wise Market and then came out and tried to steal cigarettes, and he ended up getting caught. That's just the way things go. And they declined to prosecute him, so we didn't end up with an arrest on that. The thefts included a couple of shoplifting cases at Wise and CVS, and a theft of cash from a purse where the suspect was known and charged. There was a theft of a registration sticker and a theft of a 55-gallon grease container from behind one of the local restaurants. Apparently, that's an area-wide or a statewide, nationwide issue where they're stealing these greases and selling them on the secondary market. I guess they make them into fuels or whatever. Arrested, Hampstead police officers made 4 arrests in May. Charges included second-degree assault, domestic assault, possession of CDS, paraphernalia, and shoplifting. Community policing, Sergeant Gagler attended the Westminster Flower and Jazz Festival. PFC Orem attended the Donuts for Dads at Spring Garden Elementary School. Captain Gribben and PFC Orem attended the Law Enforcement Challenge Luncheon at Martins West, where we were runner-up this year for the first time in 8 years. I think we didn't get the, we didn't win our category. PFC Holland attended the Memorial Day celebration at the War Memorial. PFC Orem spoke to a class at Manchester Valley High School about law enforcement. Officers also conducted during their regular tours 141 patrol checks at parks, schools, and businesses in the area. The speed display is currently unavailable due to an unknown technical issue. We're basically going to have to package that whole thing up and send it back to the manufacturer, and they're going to assess what the problem is and hopefully fix it at less than it would cost us to figure out what it is. So. Canine activity, PFC Halterman and Canine Nego conducted 20 canine traffic stops, in which he assisted either our agency or others during May in running scans. Staffing, Sergeant Riggio remains off on extended medical leave, scheduled to return to work in a limited duty status on June the 20th. We still have not heard anything regarding PFC Halterman's lateral transfer to Howard County Police Department. And we are in phase 2 of the COPS grant application, which means that they looked at our phase 1 and said, okay, we need more information, send us more. So we're at that point. Sergeant Gagler is now assigned as the patrol supervisor, and upon his return, Sergeant Riggio will handle administrative duties and assisting Captain Gribben. And as a reminder, the next meeting of the Hampstead Police Advisory Council is scheduled for Wednesday, August the 21st, which will be the Wednesday after the carnival, at 7 p.m. here at Town Hall. And we have guest speakers from the Maryland Highway Safety Office. They're going to come in because, I asked them to come in because there's a lot of legislation that passed during the last legislative session for the state that affects traffic laws, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity before they go into effect in October to have them come in and talk about it. That's it.
Questions for the chief?
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
I just wanted
Talk
to
to
say Sergeant
yourself.
Stacy Gessler, Gagler, did I really find out we had a issue in Montgomery? She came out on Sunday, the day before Memorial Day, so I just wanted to tell you what a wonderful job she did. Thank you very much for her.
Thank you, Ken. All right, we have a guest in the audience. Every year I go to Spring Garden Elementary and Hampstead Elementary, I'm going out of order. She is getting past, I'm sure she's tired of this. Even though she wants to be mayor, now she's seeing what it's like firsthand. But every year I go to Hampstead Elementary and Spring Garden Elementary and talk about if I were a mayor, and every year Maryland Municipal League has a contest, and we ask the fourth graders to write in what they would do if I were a mayor. Those essays are then reviewed by a group of people at Maryland Municipal League, and there's 11 districts in the Maryland in the league, and Ina Rill was the winner in District 11, which is all of Carroll County. So Ina's here tonight with us, and I'm not going to embarrass you, but here's her essay. One part, I think the country's already tried. You can figure that out, but it'll be interesting. But I thought this was very well thought out and a very nice essay, and here it is. If I were a mayor, I would make many changes like lowering taxes, lowering gas prices, making alcohol illegal, building more parks and playgrounds for kids. To make alcohol illegal, lowering taxes, and lowering gas prices, I would go to the government and tell them reasons to do these things. I would also have people who are on my side. So, there you go. So you saw that firsthand tonight, right? The back and forth. To build more parks and playgrounds, I would first find places to build them and then hire people who are willing to help build them and make our parks and playgrounds better. To involve citizens in making where we live a better place, I would have a meeting in town and convince everyone in the city to go so I could tell everyone about the changes once they were done. I would also tell everyone to recycle more and that there are going to be signs built about recycling. So there's the essay winner for District 11. So, Ina, now, if you wouldn't mind coming forward.
Now's your turn.
This is a good part. You did a great job. Come on over. People want to take a picture and see you.
She's so shy.
So, that's the other thing about being the mayor. You can't be shy anymore. So we have a little commendation for Ina from the town of Hampstead. Whereas Ina Rill, fourth grade student at Hampstead Elementary, has been selected as a regional winner of the Maryland Municipal League's 2013 If I Were a Mayor, I Would essay contest. And whereas Ina Rill's essay was chosen from over 2,400 entries statewide representing Maryland's best essays on each student's vision and their community's future. And whereas Ina Rill was recognized for her winning essay by Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown and received a governor's citation. Whereas the Maryland Municipal League's essay contest has challenged students to learn about municipal government through creatively sharing their thoughts on being a mayor. And whereas the town of Hampstead depends on the commendable efforts of its students to lead by example and remain invested in the community. Now therefore I, Christopher Nevin, Mayor of the town of Hampstead, do hereby issue this mayoral commendation to Ina Rill on this 11th day of June 2013. There you go. And so you get that. And then since you did it in 2013, this is a 125th anniversary town pin. And we'd like you to have one of those.
Very nice.
All right? Thanks again. Well done. I'm glad it's cool. We meant it.
There you go.
All right. Good job. Well done. Good job. All right. Some of the good things about being a mayor. Other mayor comments. We are in municipal busy season. May 18th was, we had Hampstead Day. We spent the day outside, most of us. Unfortunate, the weather wasn't great, and it was also on Preakness Day, so I think that might have impacted some of the attendance this year. Though from 11 to about 2 o'clock, it was a pretty good turnout when the sun was actually out for a little bit. Our ongoing thanks to the Lions Club for their commitment to this event and for organizing it and managing it every year. It's quintessential small town America. Memorial Day, our thanks to the American Legion. They've been holding Memorial Day service since 1995, the first year I was elected mayor. So it's great that it's an ongoing event. Brad was there for that, as well as Commissioner Shoemaker. Justin Reedy was the speaker. The American Legion's done a great job of modifying that event over the years, and it was very well attended on a beautiful Memorial Day morning. On May 29th, at North Carroll High School, I went to a science research open house, which was kind of neat to see the juniors and seniors and the different science projects they had. A lot related to the environment, a lot related to water quality, and the wildlife related to water quality. So some pretty good ideas there. On June 1st, Marlene already referred to the farmers market and the successful opening season. I just want to thank Marlene and Sharon Callahan for their leadership in that event, and for the farmers market and the work of their committee as a whole. It's been a real asset to add to our Main Street on weekends downtown. Then from there, I immediately walk across the parking lot and go into the Hampstead School reunion at the fire hall, where they had a great turnout. 160 people actually turned out. Graduating classes at the old school from the 1930s, correct?
1920.
1920 something? Okay.
1920 to 1950.
To 1963. There was
They're
people,
including 63.
yeah. So, and you learn a whole history about the old school, and that the fact that it was only 1 through 11th grade, 1st through 11th grade at one point. Then they added K, then they added 12th, and then they added K. So at one point in that old school, you had K through 12. And it's interesting, there was yearbooks being passed around. It was interesting to see these folks, and you know, back in the day when they looked like high school seniors, just like my son is this year. So it was very well attended. Wayne Haven and I accepted a check from the reunion committee for the funding of the flagpole that's now up next to the police station. The reunion committee, you know, still feels the connection to Hampstead. Several of the, I'd say, a third of that group still live in town or in the area. A lot of people come from very far away from that event. But every year they sort of try to fund a project. Previous projects are the bench sculpture that you see right out there on Main Street in front of the school, and they've done some work at the train station related to their sign, as well as giving items related to the history of the old school. So they're still very much invested in the town, and it's really great to see, and it's a great event to go to every year. Back to business. Brad already referred to our meeting with the representatives from KLMB about the building across the street, so we hope there's some movement on that soon. You know, from what it is today, just acquiring it, to maybe some alternative uses for the property, who knows. And then it was North Carroll High School's week, starting last Monday. There was athletic awards. I was there more for my son than anything. Then in the middle of the week, we had the community awards, where I gave out 2 scholarships. Tim Babylon helped pick out from the 11 scholarship applications that we had 2 deserving winners, in consultation with Mary Sue Cunningham, who's the North Carroll High School guidance counselor. So we had many good candidates, but we chose obviously 2. The first one was Austin Villalobos. Austin, I believe, is going to be attending Towson University. And then Harley Bechtel, and Harley's going to Shippensburg State. We look at the students' academic achievement. We look at the honors and awards they've done. Obviously, we look at the community hours that they've put in and what they've done to make their community a better place. And then we look at need as well, and of course they have to live in town. It is a Town of Hampstead scholarship. So we've been doing this for quite a number of years. It's very well received. It's amazing how well the community supports the high school at that event. I would say there are at least 50 presenters of scholarships to awards that night. So it's quite a great event for the graduating class. The other thing we've been doing for the last couple of years is to recognize a deserving high school senior. I feel a connection to these last couple of classes because I mentioned my son graduated this year. But I talked to Kim Dolch, who's the principal at the high school, about, you know, I look and see enough of these kids to know who's standing out and who's helping out. But basically it's to look at putting the accomplishments of others first, and somebody who's really dedicated to the school and the community. Last year, Dylan Roper won. He was a kid who blew out his ACL in preseason football, so he didn't play a game. Gets a surgery and basically shows up for every football practice, every football game. Then for basketball season, same thing. Then for baseball season, same thing. He didn't play a game, but he was just there for his fellow students the whole year long. So this year's winner was Taryn Kelsey, and he was honored with a proclamation naming June 5th Taryn Kelsey Day in the town of Hampstead. He was the high school quarterback. And then he also, in a rare combination, was the lead in all the theatrical productions, the last one being Les Mis, which was absolutely amazing. He's basically in the ensemble choir, quite a singer. And talking to the Principal Dolch, he was thought he was very recognizing should be recognized for this award. So that's what happened. It's well received by the kids. June 8th, I had the high school graduation, which was really well done. And I have to give Kim Dolch compliments. She is one heck of a principal. She runs that school very impressively. The management of the students, you know, God knows what any 14 to 18-year-old is going to do at any one given moment, but they seem to have a pretty good handle on the kids and on the situations at that school. And her staff is very caring and involved in the community. So, you know, my hat's off to Kim and the operation she runs at that high school. Then going out into the future, I think you've heard the Maryland Municipal League Summer Conference is upon us. Pretty much everybody here but you, no, him, Joe, being the new guy, we do have real jobs. It's still got to do some work. And Brad will be there, and we're taking Churl with us. But basically, there's a lot of good workshops this year. The main speaker is former mayor of Tampa Bay, who's coming in, talking to us. There's seminars on situational awareness that are being put on by the police, which is supposed to scare the bejesus out of us and make us more aware of our overall surroundings. To Annabon Basu, who's a very noted local economist who's coming in to talk about the economy and the economic outlook, ever ongoing issues related to environmental regulation, which there never seems to be enough of, the stormwater management updates, to dealing with blighted and abandoned properties. We have feral cats, and in every single neighborhood we also have an abandoned property that's been sitting there for a year or more. So all issues that we will take time to make sure we go to. So that's it for the May oral comments. I'm looking forward to June and slowing down.
You want to see any more of those alumni yearbooks? Come on down to the train station. I've got about a dozen.
Yep, they were good. All right, so on to any other business, old business? All right, new business. First one up, we have several appointments we want to make tonight. I mentioned their names last month, and you had a chance to reach out to them if you wanted to. Related to the Planning and Zoning Commission and to the Ethics Commission to basically fill out the roster. There's still another one that I'm going to suggest later on this evening that we will do next month. First one up is appointment of Clay Fisher to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term of 2 years. Basically, he's going to fill Joe Renahan's old term on Planning and Zoning Commission. So somewhere here I have a piece of paper. 2 years from now is 2015. So I put that motion forward.
Make a motion to accept Clay Fisher.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Me.
All right. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then the appointment of Jim Rourke to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a full term of 5 years. So he's good until 2018, should he stick it out all the way through.
I make a motion to confirm the appointment of Jim Rourke.
Second.
Any discussion?
I do. When I met this man, I could not believe that he's actually done his homework prior to getting on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I don't know what he does in his spare time, but he had told me he had actually gone on the website and listened to the last 4 or 5 Planning and Zoning meeting recordings. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I can't imagine anybody even wanting to do that. But I was very impressed with him and his attitude and his willingness to serve and be objective and consistent on planning and zoning. So I enjoyed talking with him.
Good to hear.
I, too, was very impressed.
Good to hear. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Good job, Jim. And then third one is the appointment of Cole Brown to the Ethics Commission for a full term of 3 years. And I think Cole's a well-known entity, having served on Planning and Zoning Commission before.
Make a motion to confirm the appointment of Cole Brown to the Ethics Commission.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Takes care of all the appointments. I already talked about town scholarships. We did INA. We do the bid award. I'll get you guys right after the meeting. We'll swear you in. So the bid paving, Brad mentioned before. I got it.
Motion.
Yeah, I know. All right. So we had basically 2 bids, and MT Laney was by far the lowest bidder. And we've checked them out, done some references on them, all good, all thumbs up. So we look forward to paving a lot more roads than we thought. Their winning bid came in at $348,000, so we're going to hopefully pave almost double the amount of roads that we thought. So,
Reading from the attorney's text, I move to award the paving bid to MT Laney at the bid price of $348,455.00 for for the work identified in the request for bids, RFB, issued May 1st, 2013. This award is made with the understanding that RFB provides for an open contract for additional work in the event that there are adequate financial resources remaining at the completion of the identified repairs. This motion includes the authorization for M.T. Laney to make such additional repairs as the town may direct at the completion of the work identified in the RFB.
Second.
Second.
All right, take your pick. Any discussion of the bid? Like I said, you've done the homework on them. They passed.
Yep, so we're very enthused about this. And again, we'll be starting, you'll probably see activity, the first 3 or 4 streets, Willow Street, Shiloh Ave, Clearview Ave, Huntsman Trail, Buckskin Trail, and on it goes. We're gonna be doing some work up in Eagle Ridge, and so
Thank you.
we'll be all over town.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. One bid awarded. Ordinances or resolutions. The hotly debated adoption of Ordinance 500, an ordinance to amend Chapter 135 of the Town Code regarding animals.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 500.
A second.
Discussion or amendment.
I make a motion, I'm sorry. So I'm sure everybody saw the email with the attachment from the attorney with her suggested changes. I've provided each one of the council and the mayor with a copy of the write-up I did based on the comments from the town attorney. So basically, I'd like to amend ordinance 500 under Article 1, replace
Just add.
sentence number 5 with the sentence that's here, and add the remaining text there that provides a definition. So if you want me to read it into the record, I will.
I think it's been noted for the record what it is.
Okay. The definition hasn't, but basically it defines feral cat as a domestic cat that does not appear to be, by its behavior or appearance and possibly location, found to have been domesticated. A domestic cat that is not tame and behaves as if it were wild. And that's the suggested wording from the attorney. So that's my motion to amend.
A second on the motion to amend.
A second.
Any discussion of the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any discussion on the amended ordinance? All those in favor of the amended ordinance?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Ordinance 500 is adopted. Ordinance 501, an ordinance for the levy of taxes for the fiscal year 2014.
Making a motion to adopt ordinance number 501.
Second.
Any discussion of 501? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Adoption of ordinance 502, an ordinance to adopt the annual budget of the town of Hampstead for the period July 1, 2013 to June 30th, 2014.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 502, an ordinance to adopt the annual budget of the town of Hampstead for the period of July 1, 2013 to June 30th, 2014.
Second.
Discussion.
Don't we have an adjustment we need to make?
Oh, yep, sorry, thank you.
We have to add that in.
Yeah, we should. The suggested amendment was when we made the change for the COPS grant, our budget went out of balance by like 10 grand. So we have to, or a little bit more than 10 grand. We have to change the reserve to, the transfer to the reserve of the capital improvement plan from $73,551 to $59,110. I'll entertain that amendment.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, discussion on the amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All those in favor of the amended budget?
Roll call.
We'll do a roll call.
Okay, Ms. Duff,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Gavy,
Aye.
Mr. Babylon,
Aye.
Mr. Renahan.
Aye.
Thank you. 502, and we have a budget. Public comments. Okay, Boy Scouts, you're up.
There you go.
Not dads, Boy Scouts. Name and where you're from, thanks. And? And you learn anything tonight? What? Cats have a lot more,
There's problems with cats.
very good. Well done. You earned your merit badge, and you basically, it's a lot longer meeting than we typically have. So, do I see somebody else hiding in the back corner?
I am Mike Carlson from Boy Scout Troop 451.
From? Where's your troop located?
Our troop is located in the Hereford Zone on Mount Carmel Road.
Tell my friend Lee Dill I said hello. And any comments?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Any other public comments? Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.